Thank you, Krista Case. Wasn't that beautiful? Good morning, everyone. Maxine Kaye here with you on a Sunday morning, and we're grateful that you're here with us, whether you have joined us on YouTube or on Facebook or whatever your spiritual path may be. Oh, you are so welcome here. This is a beautiful Sunday morning here in Paoli, Pennsylvania, and we're so happy to find these beautiful means for connection, to keep ourselves open-hearted and open-minded with one another. This is a place where we are always looking to find the ways that we can contribute to creating a world that works for all. For our vision truly is awakening humanity to its spiritual magnificence. And we provide spiritual tools for very practical purposes. So thanks for being here with us today. And will you say with me, ready? Living, loving, learning, spirituality that works. Now, in order to introduce a very special opening song, I'd like to invite Reverend Mike to come up. Here he comes now. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Maxine. Hello, everybody. It's my honor and delight to present this song today. It was written by a friend of mine. It was written by a friend of mine several years ago in honor of his father. And this song was played by Daniel Nahmod at my son's memorial about a year ago. The anniversary of his jumping off the planet's this coming Tuesday, so I thought it was kind of fitting that we play that song because it means a lot to me, and I think you'll love the song. It was written by the composer. He originally wrote it for his father. And the composer was my house musician for 15 of the 18 years I was in Kennewick, Washington. He's a dear friend of mine. And this guy is a musician mystic. I mean, a really musical mystic. And I think you'll really enjoy this song. Presenting the Rainbow song, Dan Myers.
Hi, I'm Dan Myers. And a while back I wrote this song in memory of my father, and it's referred to as the Rainbow Song. I saw the light shining from your eyes just before you left to go back home. Like the crystal scattered rainbows on the walls within this room, I still feel the warm reflections of your smile. A rainbow has no mind to know it's beautiful. Lives because it lets the sun shine through. It doesn't hide from the raindrops, just lets it be naturally. We've climbed a rainbow together, you and I. We've climbed it high enough to rise above the clouds that once were in our eyes, that made it hard to see what now is beautiful. Our rainbow of love. As I watched you drive away, tears began to flow. I didn't try to stop myself from crying. Instead I found my music like an old familiar friend. She gave these words to me because I listened. A rainbow has no mind to know it's beautiful. It lives because it lets the sun shine through. It doesn't hide from the raindrops. It just lets it be naturally. She said a rainbow has no mind to know it's beautiful. It lives because it lets the sun shine through. It doesn't hide from the raindrops. It just lets it be naturally. Rainbow of love, oh let it be. I saw the light shining from your eyes just before you left to go back home.
That was quite beautiful. Now it's time for a meditation. So let's take a moment and breathe deeply. Breathing in the life of spirit, the peace, the presence of God itself. And releasing any sadness, any sense of separation or limitation. Breathe in the life and let it circulate throughout this beautiful physical body temple. And let it circulate throughout our emotions and our thoughts, bringing us to the center of infinite peace. And now perhaps we can imagine that we are walking through the mountains, a lovely trail on a beautiful day. And we see a waterfall that seems to be drawing us near. And we come closer, and it is a sparkling waterfall with rainbows in it that are reflections of the bright sun that is shining upon it as it cascades over the rocks. And as this sparkling waterfall draws our attention and brings us closer, we notice that it is falling into a beautiful pool, clear, radiant, and it draws us closer. And these waters are so pure that we find ourselves touching the waters. And if we choose to, putting a toe in, perhaps immersing ourselves completely into this pure, refreshing water. There is continuous circulation, gentle movement, and we feel ourselves relaxing into this loving, embracing pool of refreshment. And here in this beautiful pool, watching the waterfall sparkling, shining, filling the pool with fresh, fresh water. You may wish to invite anyone who is in your mind and heart right now to join you in this beautiful pool of refreshment. Smiling faces, people releasing their burdens, coming to a place of peace and serenity and love. Absolute, unconditional, infinite love. All abiding here in the sweet, sweet waters of refreshment and recirculation. All care melts away in the sparkling, beautiful place of peace and power. This movement of pure energy, pure spirit, brings us all together in the one heart, allowing the abundance of this universe, the abundance of love, of joy, of serenity, of pure beingness to move through us. This is a place to which you may return any time you wish. So for now, let's come back out of the water, whether it was a toe or the whole being, and begin to walk back along the path that brought us there, with an occasional turning around to look at that glorious, radiant, sparkling waterfall. Feel the serenity, the peace, and the power. And in this place of centeredness within our hearts, let's take this image into our morning with gratitude. All is well. All is well, truly. Truly, all is well. Now we have with us for our opening prayer treatment, our affirmative prayer this morning, our practitioner, Georgiana Gord. Welcome, Georgie.
Good morning, and welcome to today's service. My name is Georgiana, and I'll be doing our opening affirmative prayer, of which we call Spiritual Mind Treatment. So please join me as you choose, as I will do this treatment in the first person. Knowing right here, right now, the truth is that God is. God is the loving current of all. It's the universal aspect of life. It's life itself. And it lives through and by means of me as an unconditional current of love. And in this current of love, I align into and connect into God's peace and joy and harmony and wisdom. And I am so grateful for this continuous flow of abundance, of prosperity, of love, knowing that I am the circuit that God lives through and by means of me, that I am where God lives. I am where God loves, and I am where God's inner wisdom works through and by means of me. It's a continuous flow of love. And so I'm so grateful for this opportunity to be the conduit of God's love. The harmonious aspects of life are right where I am. So with great thanks, I release this treatment into the law, knowing that God is, I am, right where I am, God is, and this continuous flow moves through and by means of me so freely, so lovingly, in all aspects of my life, my body, my mind, and deep within the center of my being. So thank you, God, as I release this into the law, knowing that the circulation of love is right here, right now. This is released, acted upon, and together we say, and so it is.
Thank you, Georgie. That was beautiful, and I love your little bear with the hearts on his feet. Today we have a demonstration of good, something wonderful that has taken place in one of our beloved members' lives because of her consciousness. And so it's a sweet story. She's going to share it with you now, and her name is Karen Izzy.
Hi, everybody. A couple months ago, I had been selling my pottery online, and I had an accident with the kiln. The wrong clay body was used, and every piece inside the kiln melted. The glaze got too hot for the clay. All the pieces melted, and the result was that my kiln was ruined. All the elements were fried, and this is my kiln shelf with all the pretty glaze, if you can see. I lost everything. So I called the manufacturer of the kiln, and the long story short is that she asked me how much money I had, and I literally had $200. So she said, okay, if you pay $200 in the freight charges, we will rebuild your kiln. It was a rough week. I cried for a couple days. It was a disaster. Here's my new kiln. It is shiny and bright. They were able to put the new kiln with the old lid and my old electronics back onto this kiln. So I've been blessed beyond belief, and I laid in bed for so many nights just counting blessings, because a friend of a friend in North Carolina, who's also an artist, said, we need to have a GoFundMe. We need to fund this. She's like, you're too good to stop what you're doing. And in 4 days, she raised $1,200. In 4 days, my friends collaborated to rebuild my kiln. So I'm just so grateful. I am a believer in the law of attraction, and I do know that we can manifest things, even in the hardest times. I mean, I cried for days. Every time I walked into my clay room, it was this feeling of just heaviness, like how will I ever get back to doing what I can do? So the GoFundMe money came, and the best part of the story is that the day after I picked up my kiln, I got an email from another person I've never met, who's a friend of a friend, saying, I have this small kiln, I really would like to gift it to you. Do you want to come and pick it up? And I said, well, my kiln got repaired, but thank you anyway. And she said, well, it's a tabletop kiln, so maybe you can do something different with it. I used it for porcelain dolls, and maybe you could do beads or something like that. So I said, okay, that's terrific. So I made arrangements last Sunday to pick up this little kiln. It is literally a tabletop kiln. It's about 8 by 8 inches inside. So I wasn't sure exactly how I would use it, but she really wanted to gift it to me. So here's this kiln. That was last Saturday. Saturday night, I am fixing dinner, and I'm just counting my blessings. I have friends all over, and I'm so blessed with friends. So my old kiln is out by the trash pile. The parts that I didn't need are out by the trash, and people have been stopping by to look at it and I guess see what it is, see what they can do with it. No one's taken it, right? So this young man's walking up the driveway. I go out to greet him, and he says, what happened with your kiln? It looks like you had a pretty bad accident. And I said, yeah. And I told him the whole story. It was this big, long story. And he wanted to see my pottery room, and so of course I invited a perfect stranger into my house, and we had a great time talking at a distance. Of course, times are really strange, aren't they? But young guy, and then he proceeds to tell me that he was thinking about taking the old kiln and rebuilding it because he does glass work. And it was like a brick hit me in the head, and I said, oh my gosh. I said to him as he was leaving, I said, I said, I am so blessed, and this morning I just got an email from someone I don't know offering me this glass kiln, and I said, I really think that you should have it. And I think that's why you stopped by. And he said, yeah, he's like, I wasn't going to stop by because he said, I lived here for 8 years and I never thought anyone cool lived in this neighborhood. So he said, I'm really glad I stopped by. And literally we both just felt so connected to one another through art and through just our dreams and pursuing them. So the next day I picked up the kiln, and he came over and picked it up, and we've struck up a friendship and things that we have in common, and I'm just so blessed, and I just feel like the full circle came completely around. And I shared it with the 2 women who organized the GoFundMe. I shared it with the guys who rebuilt this beautiful kiln. And I feel like pretty soon I'm ready to do something with this, just because it's a circle and everything just came right around. All is well and good. And I just wanted to share my story. So God bless you all.
And God bless you, Karen. What a beautiful story. And it was not only about her openness to her own increasing good after that disaster, watching good come from it, but also as she spoke about this circle and how she was able to keep the circulation going and to share it. Perfect for today's theme. So thank you, Karen. Let's now speak our affirmation. Are you ready to say this with me? I live in freedom's graceful flow, giving and receiving divine goodness in every form. Well done. Thank you. Okay, time for me to talk to the kids. Are you there? Hello. Okay, this one is called Let's Make Rainbows. And it's a story, so I'll read it to you. Once upon a time, in a magical place called Hawaii, 8 islands in the middle of the big blue sea, there lived many happy children who loved to play together. One day, the children noticed they were all different colors. I'm black. I'm white. I'm purple. The children started arguing. I'm best because I am all the colors put together, said the black girl. I'm best because I have no color, said the white boy. I'm blessed because I am a mix of red and blue, said the purple child. Suddenly, all the children were arguing about who was best. Nobody was happy because each child insisted they were right and the other children were wrong. Just then, Amida Buddha appeared before the children. Aloha, children, Amida smiled and said gently, Why are you arguing? The black girl said, Everyone else is wrong. I'm best because I'm all the colors put together. The white boy says, Nobody agrees with me. I'm best because I have no color. The purple child said, All I want is to be accepted just as I am. I'm best because I'm a mix of red and blue. I see, Amida smiled and said kindly. When did this argument start? The children all thought carefully. I know, said the white boy. We started arguing when we noticed we were different colors. Yes, that's right, said the black girl. When we noticed we were all different colors, each of us insisted we were best. We used to play together happily until we noticed different colors, said the purple child. You children are so wise, Amida smiled kindly and said gently, What are you going to do? The children said, "We will accept each other just as we are. It's so silly to insist that the color of our skin makes any difference at all." The children started playing together happily, singing happy songs and dancing happy dances. Suddenly, each child began shining brightly, just as they are, and together as one, all the children became a beautiful rainbow that stretched around the world. Amida Buddha smiled and said, "Mahalo, children. You are so wise. Namo Amida Butsu." From that day, all the children lived happily ever after in a magical place called Hawaii, 8 islands in the middle of the big blue sea. This is July 19th, and we are still on the month of July, and our theme for July is Ring Out Freedom. And remember, we can put a W in front of that R-I-N-G and ring out just injustice and ring out inequality while we're ringing out freedom. So today, we're speaking about freely ye have received, freely give. Ernest Holmes in The Science of Mind, page 440 for those who are studying the Saturday morning book club. When the law of circulation is retarded, stagnation results. It is only as we allow the divine current to flow through us, on and out, that we really express life. The law of giving and receiving is definite. Now, this Bible passage, freely ye have received, freely give, is from Matthew. It's when Jesus is sending some of his disciples out into the world to heal the sick, etc. He's inviting them to give of the gifts that they have received under his tutelage. They've received, it's time to give. It's time to expand that circle. And His Holiness, the Dalai Lama, says, generosity is the most natural outward expression of an inner attitude of compassion and loving kindness. When one desires to alleviate the suffering of others and to promote their well-being, then generosity in action and word and thought is this desire put into practice. And we have so many wonderful opportunities to do exactly this, haven't we? We've been given so much. We have so much love. We have so much awareness. We want to share it with others. That's only natural. Freely we have received. It's time freely to give. Now, I'm going to quote from a woman named Maxine Kaye. I can do that. I'm up here. I'm referring to the quote that I just read from His Holiness the Dalai Lama. This quote clearly addresses generosity of the heart, which includes deep compassion and authentic forgiveness for ourselves as well as for others. As we continue navigating smartly through the pandemic, caring well for ourselves and being respectful of others, we seek to reach a deeper awareness of what is ours to do, to bring about, rather than just talk about, the kind of world we truly desire. The same is true for our ever-increasing understanding of systemic racism, which must be addressed and transformed as we strengthen our ties with one another in this pivotal period of real change for humanity. We can become generous with our time and our attention as we encourage others to speak to us from their hearts, compassionate enough to be willing to hear with our hearts, holding each other tenderly in a divine embrace as we move through many human challenges. We can also be open-minded, open-handed, and open-hearted with regard to our willingness to forgive ourselves and each other. Knowing how the law of circulation works, we do not hesitate to give of our time, our talent, and our treasure to others, and especially to the closest source of our spiritual food, namely our spiritual centers, which provide a radiant, healing, transformative light to help us on the way to greater justice, greater love, and greater prosperity for all. Let's give of ourselves fully to our teaching, to our families and our friends, our communities, and the world, as we delight in the flow of good for every sentient being and experience growing abundance of every kind in our lives. It's only natural, it's part of this beautiful law of cause and effect of circulation, that the more we open our hearts and our minds and give generously, the more we're providing a space for good to come back to us, whether it's love or abundance, joy or peace, whatever we are sending out, returns to us multiplied. Truly, consciousness manifests. We know that what is uppermost and dominant in our consciousness, conscious and subconscious, is the entire part of our consciousness, comprised of what's just above, the tip of the iceberg, to what is below, which is our true dominant belief system, that it manifests, and the good that we enjoy is given, not even earned. We don't have to earn our lives. We don't have to earn the great abundance that's flowing to us at all times. What we do need to do is to open our hearts to receive it, and the more we receive, and know there's plenty for all, and desire great good for others, as well as for ourselves, then the more deeply we touch that infinite source. The living waters of spirit, abundant, infinite, and they're here for every one of us. The universe is abundant, freely flowing. It's love, it's peace, it's plenty. And the law of circulation is a reality, much like Karen Izzy shared with us in her beautiful demonstration video. We cannot outgive God, but it's fun to try. It really is. How much can we continue to give? How much can we continue to share? How big could we make our hearts to bring everybody in? How alive, aware, and awake can we be in order to help our beloveds in this world awaken to their source? We have so much, and our consciousness manifests. Don't we wish to see the consciousness of all sentient beings open and expand and bring great good into their lives, into every place in this world? Yes, we do. It's pure joy to share truth. It's pure joy to establish a compassionate, harmonious, prosperous world. And it seems the more we allow ourselves to let that flow of divine life move out and touch and bless and lift others, whether we know them or not, whether we'll ever see them again or not, the more peaceful and the more powerful we experience ourselves to be. It's a never-ending expression of good. Consciousness manifests, and dominant thought prevails. If our dominant awareness in our consciousness is a true desire for unconditional love to reach out, touch, bless, and lift others, then our own experience of love only increases. We're all on this spiritually evolutionary road together. And some of you may have heard me say in the past that in a center where I was in Palm Desert years ago, there was a beautiful nonagenarian, and she was a chaplain minister. And so she still, even with all of her years of training and experience and professionalism, she showed up for every single class I ever gave, and always on the front row. And I asked her one day, Reverend Kathleen, why is it that you, after all of these years, that you keep coming to these classes, every single one? And she says, well, I want to just keep evoluting right along. We're all evoluting right along. And believe me, my dear ones, the more we engage with others and desire to lift them in their spiritual evolutionary process, whatever it may be, the more deeply we connect with our source, and the more beautifully our lives become. Even in a time that's so challenging like this, especially, in fact, because it is when things look the worst that we must apply our principle. As we give, so we receive. As we believe in our heart, so is it in our lives. And we are in the process of co-creating a world that works for all. And as we are continuing to move along this evolutionary path, and with great compassionate hearts and a clear willingness to do our part, then we find that not only we, but all people, whether we'll ever meet them or not, are evolving in a greater way than they may have ever even known. Let's give everyone that opportunity. And there are small ways we can do this as well as large ways. How about circulating those clothes you no longer wear? Knowing that there are people who truly could use them. The corner of your closet is not enhanced by them. Let's circulate those good things. Let's just give wonderful thanks that someone else truly can utilize them. Let's release those objects we no longer need in order to empower us in this beautiful law of circulation. Share our abundance of money, of time, of talent with others. You cannot outgive God. But as I said, it's really a trip to try. No matter how much we send out, when we send it out with a generous, gracious heart, we deepen our connection with the living waters of Spirit. And we enhance our own good while we are enhancing the lives of others. You know, you and I are greatly prospered in so many, many beautiful ways. I want to add life to the life of others, don't you? Let's declare freedom from lack and limitation for all. As we continue to expand our consciousness of abundance, let's always include everyone in the world in that consciousness, so that as I am prospered, everyone is prospered. We desire great good for every sentient being. We're blessed. We're so blessed. And right now, when we're in the midst of uncertainty and some limitation, we don't have to experience lack. We do not have to experience separation. This is a better time than ever to experience our connection with the living source of our good. To experience our connection with all beloveds, as I said, even those we'll never meet. And when you're walking down the street, socially distanced, well masked, see the beloved within every face. Isn't it interesting that even with a mask on, the eyes can twinkle? People can know that you're sending love. And something happens, because I've noticed that when there are people who are masked in a large area, socially distanced, of course, there can begin to be a sense of nervousness, even a sense of distrust. We can move right through that and establish a consciousness of love, a consciousness of unity, a consciousness of knowing that behind, we're all wearing masks all the time. We just have extra ones right now. But we can know that behind the mask of the human persona, there is a divine being. And just knowing that connects us heart to heart in a way that no words even need to be uttered. You and I are connected with the living source because there's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is my life. That life is your life. That life is perfect. There is no other life. We're all created from that one life. So isn't it sweet to remember that when we see and behold another being and celebrate that divinity within them that is giving freely? Because you and I, have already been given the gift of divine life. So let's see it and announce it and proclaim it in everyone that we see, every sentient being. We're so blessed. You are a blessing, more than you realize. It's time to step into that and keep evoluting right along in our spiritual path. Beautiful, beautiful spiritual path. Oh, we may hear, these are the times that try men's souls. These are the times that women try on shoes. I don't think that's how it went. But it is a challenging time. We've never experienced a time like this unless you happen to have gone through the 1918 pandemic, and there are not too many people, but there are a few who remember that. Right now, most of us are experiencing something we never dreamed we would experience, that we've never had before. At the same time, we are becoming very aware of the need for greater justice in this world, greater equality, greater equity, greater awareness that indeed we are all one, and unity in diversity is a beautiful thing. And so let's keep opening our hearts. Let's keep giving of the life that is within us and drawing forth that divine life from everyone we think of, everyone we interact with, everyone we are aware of. This world is still a beautiful place to be. The skies and waters are actually cleaner. Animals are happy. This world was created to be good. You and I were created to be beautiful expressions of the living God. Let's stay in that awareness and share it with everyone we may encounter. Will you say with me, I live in freedom's graceful flow. I give and receive divine goodness, keeping the circle of good in motion. And so, my beloveds, beginneth our lesson. And now the offertory. This is the time that we get to share of our good. We get to recirculate the abundance, and we get to add life to the life of our spiritual center, the Greater Philadelphia Center for Spiritual Living, where we continue to hold you in our hearts and lift you in our consciousness. So we get to share, and there are many ways that it can be given to you, to us. Well, it's to you, actually. This is your center. And so these are the ways that you may contribute. Thank you for your continued contributions. It's making all the difference so that when the time comes, whenever the time comes, that we can open our doors again, we will be strong and ready to continue to serve you. So let's say together our prosperity celebration, and it goes like this. I choose to celebrate prosperity. Divine love blesses my gift. It is my acceptance of God as the source of my abundant supply. With joy and gratitude, I share my abundance with this center. In doing so, I am one with the law of circulation. My tithe goes forth to heal, to prosper, and to bless. It returns to me multiplied abundantly, and I am prospered, and so it is.
be an open channel. If love is why I'm here, let me give and then receive. If love is why I'm here, let me be an open channel. If love is why I'm here, let me give and then receive. Give and receive. Give and receive. If love is why we're here, let us be an open channel. If love is why we're here, let us give and then receive. Love is why we're here, let us be an open channel. If love is why we're here, let us give and then receive. Give and receive. Give and receive. If love is why you're here, may you be an open channel. If love is why you're here, may you give and then receive. If love is why you're here, may you be an open channel. If love is why you're here, may you give and then receive. Give and receive. Give and receive. Give and receive. Give and receive.
This is the GPCSL Afternoon News with your host, John Zoll.
Oh, we're on? I'm on? Okay. Good morning. Welcome to news from around the world and across the globe from GPCSL in Paoli, Pennsylvania. I'm John Zoll from your Board of Trustees on location in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania this morning, the town that no one knows why it was named King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. Let me just say that Reverend Mike's textbook class continues to be held each Saturday on Zoom. If you're interested in joining, you can join any Saturday from 9:45 to 11 a.m. until they finish reading the entire textbook, which you better get involved because you never know how long that's going to take and how long you have to read it. You can join on any Saturday, and you can join anytime for free. It's a love offering class by emailing Reverend Mike at cslphilly.org, and he will send you the Zoom invite, and then you'll be welcome into the group. This is a great idea and a wonderful class. You really should consider it. Second, we invite you to join us this Wednesday, July 22nd at 6:30 p.m. to continue the vital conversations of Greater Philadelphia Center for Spiritual Living, which began last month with our two neighbor centers for spiritual living, Center for Peace in Philadelphia and CSL Delaware. The three spiritual leaders, Reverend Tawana Malone, Reverend Kathleen Johnson, and Dr. Maxine Kaye, have met in vision to establish a dynamic collaboration for all three communities, and then join with many of our leaders in our community to continue asking, what is God's highest idea about honoring all of humanity and taking real action in our world? We are coming together to deepen our understanding of racism and become more aware of the experiences of others in this time of change. Again, we invite you to join us this Wednesday, July 22nd at 6:30 to 8 p.m. to continue this conversation. I was involved in the first two, and I must tell you they were wonderful, and you will benefit from being engaged in this process. Well over 70 people in our three communities were on the first one last month. Simply contact Linda O'Neill at admin@cslphilly.com to receive the Zoom invitation and the link to connect to this important session. We have two more upcoming classes, exciting things looking forward here at GPCSL. Dr. Maxine is offering a 4-week discovery class for anyone interested in becoming acquainted with the principles of the Centers of Spiritual Living and the Science of Mind philosophy. Everything you wanted to know and didn't know to ask. Classes will be held 4 Tuesday evenings via Zoom starting August 4th through August 25th from 6:30 to 8:30. Dr. Maxine will be starting a Science of Mind accredited 8-week class entitled Treat Yourself to Life. This is the second class offering. This will be on Tuesday, don't forget Tuesday, September 8th via Zoom from 6:30 to 9. This is an accredited class. It's a powerful 8-week class based upon the book of the same title by Raymond Charles Barker. Students experience the joy of harnessing the power of good in the universe by learning to use affirmative prayer effectively and with purpose. Positive practical tools are given to change unwanted patterns and bring greater good into the basic areas of living: health, prosperity, relationships, and creative expression. I've taken this class. It's a wonderful class, and Dr. Maxine does a fabulous job in enlightening you if you join this class. To register, please email Linda at admin@cslphilly.com. For more details on all the events in our calendar, go to our new website, www.cslphilly.org, where you can also view past Sunday celebrations and Dr. Maxine and Reverend Mike's daily love notes. Regarding demonstrations, we would love to hear experiences that you've had as a result of positive affirmative prayer during this particular situation that we're in, or anything in general. Just contact Dr. Maxine. Her phone number is 760-574-2490. It's also on our website. Or you can just text her with your good news, and she'll let everyone else know. You can also check out any other things that you'd like to know about the center at our new website, cslphilly.org. Oh, one more thing. We'll be holding a Zoom social today, right after our Sunday celebration, and we plan to hold these each Sunday. So grab your cup of coffee, your favorite beverage, and go to zoom.us on your computer or iPhone and enter this ID number to join us. 839-510-32452. That's 839-510-32452. We'll use the same number each Sunday. Please join us. And now, for something completely different. And that's the way it is. Sunday, July 19th in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. Goodbye. Good luck. I hope to see you around soon. Happy hunting for groceries and everything else that you need. And be as safe as you can out there. We're all in this together.
That was a wonderful announcement. Thank you, reporter Zoll. And now we'll have our closing song, and it is performed by Jason Mraz, and it's called Life is Wonderful, and it is.
It takes a crane to build a crane. It takes 2 floors to make a story. It takes an egg to make a hen. It takes a hen to make an egg. There is no end to what I'm saying. It takes a thought to make a word. And it takes some words to make an action. And it takes some work to make it work. It takes some good to make it hurt. It takes some bad for satisfaction. La 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 la, life is wonderful. La 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 la, life goes full circle. La 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 la, life is wonderful. La 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 la. It takes a night to make it dawn, and it takes a day to make you yawn, brother. And it takes some old to make you young. It takes some cold to know the sun. It takes the one to have the other. And it takes no time to fall in love, but it takes you years to know what love is. And it takes some fears to make you trust. It takes those tears to make it rust. It takes the dust to have it polished, yeah. La 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 la, life is wonderful. La 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 la, life goes full circle. La 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 la, life is wonderful. La 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 la. It is so. It takes some silence to make sound, and it takes a loss before you found me. And it takes a road to go nowhere. It takes a toll to make you care. It takes a hole to make a mountain. La 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 la, life is wonderful. La 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 la, life goes full circle. La 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 la, life is wonderful. La 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 la, life is meaningful. La 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 la, life is wonderful. La 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 la. It is so wonderful. It is so meaningful. It is so wonderful. It is
And so, with great joy and gratitude, we live fully this wondrous life, and we live it full circle. And so it is.